Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating various events. This week is commemorated as Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week. Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week, which is held from April 16 to 22nd. Cancers of mouth, head, and neck affect more than 54,000 Americans every year. And that's a remarkably high number. April is observed as Oral Cancer Awareness Month, with a week dedicated especially to head and neck cancers. These cancers usually occur due to tobacco consumption, and sometimes they might be inherited too. But in recent years, oral, head, and neck cancers are also being noticed in young and non-smoking individuals who have tested positive for the HPV virus. Though the virus cannot be stopped from spreading, good practices can help these cancers at bay. Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week was started by Head and Neck Center Alliance, HCNA, in association with American Academy of Otolaryngology. The HCNA is a non-profit organization that works with healthcare organizations and workers, patients, and survivors to ramp up the efforts to prevent, treat, and detect cancers of the head and neck region. They also help patients find resources and aid in researching these cancers. Oral Head and Neck Cancers Awareness Week raises awareness about a potentially fatal disease, since more than 50,000 Americans are detected with oral, head, and neck cancers each year. There's an urgency to inform more people Yeah, we will resume in a minute. Oral head and neck cancer awareness week raises about a potentially fatal disease since more than 50,000 Americans are detected with oral head and neck cancers every year. There's an urgency to inform more people about the potentially fatal outcome of these diseases. Among many, one of the campaign's goals is to inform people that dentists are first responders against oral cancer. The importance of good oral health and your dentist can save you from cancers. A study estimates that almost 8,000 people succumb to head and neck cancer every year. Oral head and neck cancers usually affect the nasal cavity, sinuses, lips, mouth, thyroid gland, salivary gland, so throat, or larynx. In younger non smoking people, oral head and neck cancer may also result from the HPV virus. Some signs and symptoms of the head and neck cancers are change in voice, lump in the neck, oral lesions that refuse to heal, sore throat that doesn't heal, earache, painful swallowing, and rapid and unintentional weight loss. People wear blue ribbons for oral cancer awareness. For head and neck cancers, Alice wear burgundy and ivory or red and white ribbons. So quit tobacco. Tobacco is the leading cause of oral head and neck cancers. If you smoke or consume tobacco products, Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week is time to pledge to quit the habit. And also ensure that you don't have smokers in your locality, in your family, in your community, because passive smoking is more dangerous than active smoking. By inhaling the smoke, which is released by the smokers, more people are getting cancer. So, by smoking, you are not only putting yourself into risk, but you are becoming a killer of others who are inhaling the smoke which is released from consumption of tobacco. So always stay away from the smokers and do not allow them to smoke in your locality, in your area, in your premises. And always have the signboards of no smoking in your community, in your house, and wherever there is a public space of people. In fact, smoking is a fine when you are smoking in public spaces, but often this is not being implemented. So the communities, especially those who are very much aware, the social workers, counselors, psychologists have to be very aware. Community workers have to prepare, have to work in these lines in communities, because nowadays cancer has become a household disease. Now it's a high time that we all need to display the prohibition of consumption as well as smoking of tobacco products in communities, neighborhoods, and colonies, apartments, and declare them as no smoking zone, because it not only just affects the smokers, but also it affects the non-smokers. Non-smokers are also getting cancers because of inhaling that smoke. It is a deadliest illness. 1 in 6 people around the globe dies due to cancer every year. More than 80% of the cancer patients are 55 years and above. Cancer is second leading cause of death globally. It is the reason for 80% of lung cases. For men, in the prostate cancer, and for women, it's breast cancer, which is the most common cancers for men and women. The main objective of the Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week is to save lives. The week achieves that by organizing awareness drives, making resources available, and bringing medical care to the affected. Celebrations like Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week also expel myths about the illness by bringing facts and data to the fore. This helps patients and caretakers determine the best course of action without falling prey to misinformation. Oral Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Week can also help build communities where patients, caretakers, and survivors can come together to share resources and to encourage each other to live a full life. So if you care and love for your family, neighbors, community, kindly don't consume. Even if you are a smoker, always find a place where, in the very first place, quit smoking. If you are unable to quit smoking immediately, kindly find a lonely space where there are no people or animals around, to slowly get rid of smoking, because passive smoking kills your own family members, your own neighborhood, your own community. Today is also commemorated as Day of Mushroom in US, which is celebrated on April 16th and honors all the things fungi. So the fleshy spore-bearing fruiting body of a fungus, which can grow anywhere above ground, on soil, or its food source, is known as a mushroom. The white button mushroom, which is grown, is the standard fungus to be called mushroom. Therefore, fungi with a stem cap and gills on the underside of their cap are those to which term mushroom is most frequently applied. The name mushroom is also relevant to describing the fleshy fruiting bodies of other Escomycota, because it is used to describe a range of different gilled fungi that may or may not have a stem. Since they first appeared in the early European communities, it is generally assumed that people have been gathering mushrooms since the beginning of the time, possibly even in prehistoric times. Truffles and other types of mushrooms were prized in classical Greece and Rome. American author Cynthia Bertelsken claims in her book Mushrooms, A Global History that both well-known historical authors, Pliny and Elder and Aristotle, wrote about fungus. She also claims that the Roman philosopher Galen wrote several paragraphs on the collection of the wild mushrooms. Cynthia Bertelston goes on to add that it is likely that China and Japan were first places to cultivate mushrooms as early as 600. But it took time for the Americans to accept and become accustomed to the mushrooms. In the cookbook, The Virginia Housewife, mushrooms are mentioned for the first time in America 1824. Campbell's cream for mushroom soup, a class American staple for casserole recipes, was created in 1930s. Bertelston adds that there may be archaeological proof of the spiritual usage of mushrooms as early as 10,000 BC. There is proof that various cultures, including ancient Greeks, the Mayans, the Chinese, and the Vikings, among many others, used hallucinogenic mushrooms. Humans now consume edible mushrooms regularly, which has greatly boosted the agricultural and agroeconomic development of the areas where they are grown. Around half of all farmed mushrooms, edible mushrooms, are produced in China, which also accounts for 6 pounds of yearly mushroom consumption per person among the world's 1.4 billion inhabitants, with an estimated 194,000 tons of yearly edible mushroom exports. Poland was the leading exporter of mushrooms in 2014. Mushrooms are fleshy, spore-bearing fruiting bodies of fungi, which are typically produced anywhere above ground, on soil, or the sources of their food. Some mushrooms taste good and are safe for human consumption and are also edible. It is a good idea to go to mushroom hunting on the day of mushroom. Depending on a variety of variables, you can sometimes find mushrooms in your yard or the woods. Consume some mushrooms when used as culinary garnishing. Several edible mushrooms are quite a delicacy and are also nutritious. Similar to how humans breathe, mushrooms take in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. They breathe like humans do. The fruiting body of the mycelium, not the mushroom, is the primary plant. Mushrooms can be edible. Some mushrooms taste good and are safe for human consumptions, and some are not. So check the type of mushroom and whether it is edible or not before you consume. Mushroom spores can survive the radiation and vacuum in space. Today is also commemorated as National Bean Counter Day in US. Is a special day set aside to give accountants and other financial experts, collectively called bean counters, their much deserved break and honor for all the important work they do for the benefit of their clients. Thanks to them, many of us have our finances in order, and it is only proper that we show them appreciation with a day dedicated to them. Bean counter is a nickname for someone who does accounting or otherwise manages the fine details of budgets and expenditures. They are involved in corporate or government financial decisions and they always aims to minimizing spending. The term became attributed to accountants and their counterparts because of their dedicated efforts in ensuring that every penny or like bean that went in and out of a business was well accounted for. Bean counters are often considered to be CPAs and accountants, but there are other number of crunchers who are also considered bean counters, including anyone who is into financial forecasting, planning, or service providers, where a big part of their job includes crunching numbers. These financial professionals work hard all year long, especially at the beginning of tax season, where they spend most of their time collecting and preparing hundreds and thousands of financial documents and tax forms to meet the April 15 tax filing deadline. When the day is over, they are often fatigued and need some adequate rest and appreciate care. The National Bean Counter Day was created by Kevin Bain, a CPA from Trumbull, Connecticut, to draw attention to hard work and efforts put out by accountants on their jobs and to ensure that they get the day of work right after the tax deadline. It is once in a year holiday that helps us to recognize just how important our financial experts, bean counters, are and to give them the care and appreciation they deserve. Today is also commemorated as National Healthcare Decisions Day. In US, it is observed every year on April 16th. And you are aware that there are times you might need to make some decisions about your healthcare, but be incapacitated to make them. The day is set aside to help you take care of these potential situations ahead of time. It is the day for patients or healthcare receivers to make known to health professionals the kind of adequate care they wish to receive and have those wishes respected and met. So, healthcare encompasses the maintenance of or improvement of health through prevention, diagnosis, treatment, recovery, or cure of illness, injury, and other physical and mental impairments in people. It is delivered by health professionals and allied health fields across the country. Health facilities participate as flagship venues for public engagement. Other participating facilities and organizations that have their own physical spaces engage in these activities as well. The ones that lack physical spaces work in partnership with others or at non-healthcare venues, supermarkets, pharmacies, libraries, etc. to support the initiative. National Health Decisions Day is a series of independent events held across the country supported by a national media and public education campaign. It was founded in 2008 by Nathan Camp, a Virginia-based healthcare lawyer, to provide clear, concise, and consistent information on healthcare decision-making on both public and providers' facilities through the widespread availability and dissemination of simple, free, and uniform tools to guide the process. In all respects, the day is inclusive and brings a variety of players of the larger healthcare, legal, and religious community together to work on a common project. The benefits of patients, families, and providers. These entities work together to ensure the availability of information, opportunity, and access needed to document healthcare decisions. Today is also commemorated as National Librarian Day in US. It is a chance to be thankful for all the knowledge that librarians possess. You may think of them as book slingers who spend all day cataloging and reshelving. But librarians play a much more important role from children's story time to literacy classes. Libraries offer a wealth of free public resources. Trained in library sciences, potential librarians work with complex cataloging systems to organize books, make purchasing decisions for the library, liaise with local schools and universities, organize events and programming, teach classes, and more. Their role is constantly evolving to adapt to new technology and social needs. Celebrate National Librarian Day with us and say thanks to the awesome libraries that are always on hand to help. Stereotyped in pop culture and we speculated older ladies who constantly shush their teen patrons. Librarians are dedicated professionals who perform a variety of tasks to keep libraries running, organize programming, and update their collections. The first large libraries in the US in the West were mostly privately owned and require entry fees or paid membership to gain access. The concept of free public libraries took hold by the late 1800s in the early 20th century after Melville Dewey standardized library cataloging with his Dewey Decimal System and other practices. Public libraries rapidly expanded with thousands of new branches across the country. By 1900, the scope of libraries expanded, with many offering reference departments and interlibrary loans. During the Great Depression, libraries served as lifeline for struggling families seeking a cozy refuge and free entertainment. Today, libraries function as so much more than repositories of knowledge. To keep up with changing technology, library offerings now include audiobooks, e-reader materials, free computer skill classes, and access to free online resources. Many public libraries offers language and citizenship classes, access to useful tools, technology like 3D printers and computers, and free workshops on variety of hobbies and life skills. They provide a quiet shelter during hot or rainy days at no cost, and they serve as safe, welcoming hangout for children and teens. Today is also commemorated as National Orchid Day in US. Orchids are one of the two largest families of flowering plants with between 21,950 and 26,049 currently accepted species. They are colorful, beautiful, give off good fragrance, and grow in abundance across the world. The day is connected with honoring and cherishing the memory of loved ones and indeed dear to our hearts. Orchids belonging to the family of Orchidaceae are a widespread family of flowering plants with colorful and fragrant blooms. National Orchid Day was created in 2015 by a South Carolina couple, Mike and Faith Young, in remembrance of their daughter who passed away the previous year. The couples fell in love with orchids, with both volunteering at an orchid reserve in Mexico so much that they decided that if they were ever to have a daughter, they would name her Orchid. So they did have a daughter, but unfortunately lost during her labor. After the loss, the couple wanted to do something to honor the day and celebrate the memory of their late daughter with their favorite flowers. So they went ahead to create a Kickstarter campaign to get money required in order to register the day. They offered pre-orders of their backyard honey, the humble bumble's honey, and within hours of commencing, raised the required $1,500 and got National Orchid Day registered. Since then, the day has gained widespread recognition from orchid growers, enthusiasts, and botanical gardens. With so many varieties to choose from, anyone can enjoy the beauty of orchids from home or by visit botanical gardens around the world. For the rest of their lives, Mike and Faith say that they will be caring for and spreading awareness about orchids. They believe in having a national orchid day dedicated to the beautiful lives lost. People everywhere will appreciate orchids some more, and their little girl will feel the warmth of those that think of the orchids that day. Today is also commemorated as National Reveal the Genius within the day in US in the honor of Shokeri Nakpodia. Nakpodia is the creative director of the Mighty Group and founder of Dreamweave. The day is celebrated on his birthday throughout the country, particularly in the city of San Antonio, Texas, home of Dreamweave. This day celebrates the Nakpodia's call for people to connect and share their ideas on issues that affect everyone. His determination to ensure that everyone was able to share their ideas and reveal their genius led to Dreamwork, a 12-day summit where people come together to discuss issues that concern humanity. Today is also commemorated as Teach Your Daughter to Volunteer Day in US, which is an annually celebrated. Voluntary service is a way to assist others and give back to the society. A supportive community or neighborhood can be created by families working together to shape a caring and understanding environment in which all families can prosper in a spirit of partnership. Volunteering may not be a familiar concept to your child, but even in the smallest of the children can be taught the importance of volunteering and making a contribution. This can help them develop a sense of appreciation and generosity as they grow older. Philanthropy can take the form of them donating their time or allocating a portion of their allowance to the causes that they believe in support. Some suggestions for getting your daughter involved in community activities are based on their interests. Volunteering began in the 12th century in the Britain in the West, where over 500 hospitals were staffed by volunteers. But it's possible that the people were helping others selflessly before then. Initially, volunteerism was closely associated with religious groups. The word volunteering comes from the French word volontaire and was used in connection with the people who voluntarily joined the military as early as 1755. The constant desire for safety from external threats prompted the usage of this term, which at that point was still intimately linked to military aid. It is now associated with community service rather than the military service. Volunteering began during major conflicts and wars when youth, especially women, gathered to collect supplies and help wounded veterans. Officially structured volunteering began in the late 1800s and peaked in the early 1900s, with certain organizations still operational today. The Red Cross was founded during the Civil War when citizens arranged to offer free medical care under the Clara Barton supervision. Today, YMCA, Rotary Club, and other organizations still arrange activities and classes, collect money, and bring people together to achieve a better world. During World War II, volunteer groups were dispatched overseas for the first time. Example, Peace Corps. As volunteering gained popularity, many academic institutions and corporations began requiring students and employees to volunteer. Surprisingly, the internet brought about the greatest transformation in volunteerism. It allows people to connect with global organizations, meaning awareness can be raised without geographical limits. To reach more individuals, organizations created internet directories and indexes. Helpful platforms were created and more volunteers were interested when they learned about the various options available and tough bridges were crossed. Today is also commemorated as Wear Pajamas to Work Day in US. Timed appropriately for the day after tax day, Wear Pajamas to Work Day on April 16th help us to relieve some financial stress. We are not sure who made Wear Pajamas to Work Day a thing, but it's becoming nationally and virally popular. Even celebrities have been spotted rocking sleepwear while out and about. We always recommend checking with your boss first, unless, of course, you are lucky enough to work from home. Get cozy and comfortable in your office chair while dreaming about cashing your tax refund. Check, that is, if you are among those who actually receiving one. Federal rules required children's sleepwear up to size of 14 to meet a minimum flammability standard since 1975. In the era of more informal dresses, designers like Ralph Lauren and Giorgio Armani brought pajama style clothing outside of the bedroom and into daytime and evening wear. Wash pajamas since 2000. Today is also commemorated as Fuji Shibazakura Festival in Japan. Fuji Shibazakura Festival is a flower festival that takes place every year in Japan near Lake Motosuko. It is a popular attraction because people enjoy seeing the large fields of blooming Shibazakura, moss pink, moss phlox, or lawn cherry. It grows along the edges of Mount Fuji and has a beautiful pink flower, creating a spectacular landscape. The festival attracts tourists of thousands. This is because it provides beautiful view that includes the flower fields and Mount Fuji. This floral festival takes place for about 6 weeks. Although visiting is recommended from early to mid-May, there are over 8 lakh Shibazakura flowers on display during the festival. More than anyone else around Tokyo, a striking landscape is created with pink moss, anemones, muscaris, and tulips. The scientific name for Shibazakura is Phlox subulata. This is creeping plant with vivid colors. The flowers bloom just after the cherry blossom trees from April to late May. It is a popular location for the photographers due to its highly photographic nature. It is perfect contrast of pink flowers, the blue sky, and the majestic mountain. The festival is a popular destination for the people traveling through the 5 lakes area during spring. Lake Motosuko lies on the flat expanse, providing a breathtaking view of Mount Fuji in the background. Even when its snowy top is covered with clouds, the grounds are expertly laid out with attractive features such as small lake and lookout point to capture the eye of the visitor. Paths are made to be accessible to people with reduced mobility. The event also includes a food festival that features a variety of Japanese dishes. Visitors can stop by at one of the many food stalls offering Japanese street food. Options include a special dish from Yamanashi Prefecture with noodles and both local and national favorites such as fried rice, bean paste buns, and dumplings. Some classical Japanese desserts are flavored with sakura flower for the occasion. Today is also commemorated as World Voice Day, which is devoted to celebrating the phenomenon of human voice and raising awareness on the issues affecting the health of the voice. This day aims to demonstrate how vital the human voice is in people's daily interaction. The voice is critical to be effective and healthy human communications. World Voice Day helps bring global awareness to the need to prevent voice problems, rehabilitate troubled voices, train artistic voices, and research the function and application of human voice. One main goal of World Voice Day is to encourage all owners and users of voices and learn how to take care of their voices as well as how to seek help where necessary and to support the on the voice. The human voice has existed for as long as humans ourselves have been in existence. A comprehensive history of the origins and use of human voice for millennia of human history may prove arduous, if not outside possible. However, the biological construct theories of the human voice are good explanation of how the voice works, and for the discussion, we think that would be more than enough. The human voice consists of sounds produced by human being through the vocal tract. Some of the action resulting from this take like includes talking, singing, laughing, crying, screaming, shouting, and humming, among other things. The voice frequency of beings plays a significant important role in the production of sounds, in which specific vocal folds or chords make up of the primary source of the sound. Other mechanism of human sound production from the same body region usually involve the production of unvoiced consonants, clicks, whistling, and whispering. The mechanism for generating or producing a sound frequency for the human voice is divided into lungs, the voice box, vocal folds with the larynx, and the articulators. For the sound production equation to work, the lungs must produce enough airflow and pressure to create vibrations in the vocal folds through its pump action. The vocal folds then work with air pressure from the lungs to develop audible pulses that make up the larynx sound source. The laryngeal muscles adjust the length and the tension of vocal folds to determine specific pitch and tone. The articulations are the parts of the vocal tract above the larynx, which comprise the tongue, palate, cheek, and lips. They filter the sound produced from larynx and to certain extents and cause strengthen or weaken laryngeal airflow as a sound source by interacting with it. The first known opera, Jacopo Peri's Daphne, is performed in 1598. Bhajan American hip hop artist and beatboxing pioneer Dog E. Fresh is born in 1966. The reality TV music show The Voice airs for the first time in April, and The Voice is launched in 2011. In 2016, Turkish singer Alpacian Dermas set the world record for the longest vocal pitch by holding a note for 1 minute and 52 seconds, the longest vocal pitch ever in 2016. So World Voice Day, observed on April 16th every year, is an international day devoted to celebrating the human voice. Birds have two voice boxes called syrinxes, so that some birds can make more noise or more than one sound at a time. For the sound production equation to work, lungs must produce enough airflow and to create pressure to create vibrations in the vocal folds through its pump action. The voice folds then work with air pressure from the lungs to create audible pulses that make up the larynx sound source. So for World Voice Day, you could lend your voice to voiceover. If you have ever been told that you have fantastic voice, here's your chance to cash in on it. You can record a video of yourself singing, whether or not you really can. Upload it to online just for fun. Here's an opportunity to attend opera, which is usually a high society activity, but there you can get to see human voice being used at its best. It is also an opportunity to dress up. The human vocal cords are composed of two folds in the mucous membrane, and vocal cords are full of mucous membrane. Voice breaks result from larynx thickening. When a boy's voice breaks or deepens, it results from the larynx thickening. Singer Tim Storms is said to have a low voice than he can sing the lowest possible notes that are audible only to the elephants. The first time anyone set a record for the longest sustainable vocal note was in 2009. The male human voice is said to be capable of a vocal range of 600 feet when out in the open air. Having a voice is one of the easiest ways to communicate. We can do this through speaking and shouting, crying, etc. Our voices significantly contribute to music, even though there are musical instruments. Voices enhance melodies. Our personalities are best portrayed through our voices. Today is also commemorated as World Semicolon Day in US. Is related to non-profit organization Project Semicolon, which defines itself as being dedicated to presenting hope and love for those who are struggling with mental illness, suicide, addiction, and self-injury, and exists to encourage, love, and inspire. The leadership and membership of the organization are devoted to achieving lower suicide rates in the US and all around the world. Although they are not themselves psychiatric professionals, nor they are trained in mental health, they help by recommending emergency contact helplines. The movement also welcomes and embraces people holding different beliefs or religions. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which individual realizes his or her abilities, can cope up with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and can contribute to his or her community. Mental health comprises subjective well-being, autonomy, competence, and self-actualization of individuals' own intellectual and emotional acumen, among others. An individual's ability to enjoy life and create a balance between life activities and effects to achieve psychological resilience is also an indication of mental health. In the mid-1800s, it was William Swister who first coined the term mental hygiene, which is an antecedent to modern contemporary perspective on promotion of positive mental health. Isaac Ray, former president and co-founder of the American Psychiatric Association, further defined mental hygiene as the art of preserving the mind against all incidents and influences calculated to deteriorate its qualities, impair its energies, or derange its movements. In American history, it was believed that individuals with mental illness was being religiously punished. Thus, this belief carried on for most of the 18th century, along with the dehumanizing treatment of such individuals. From 1840 to 1880, Dorothy Dix received the official backing of the federal government to institute over 30 state psychiatric hospitals. These hospitals would later be understaffed and humored to violate human rights. Clifford Whittingham Beers was a forerunner in the development of the mental hygiene movement. Based on his own traumatic experiences with mental health care, he went on to publish A Mind That Found Itself in 1908. William Swister, the physician who first coined the term mental hygiene, is born in 1797. Dorothy Dix, who was at the forefront of the mental hygiene movement in 1800s, was born in 1802. Project Semicolon, a non-profit organization that caters to mental health issues, was created by Amy Bluell in 2013. The first ever World Semicolon Day is observed in 2016. So Project Semicolon is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to presenting hope and love for those who are struggling with mental illness, suicide addiction, and self-injury. and exists to encourage love and inspire. The leadership and membership of the organization are devoted to achieving lower suicide rates in the US and all around. So World Semicolon Day is celebrated today, that is on April 16th every year. Project Semicolon was founded by Amy Bluell in 2013, 10 years after her father committed suicide. Unfortunately, Bluell herself would ultimately commit suicide in 2017. So the idea of World Semicolon Day is to decrease the number of suicides. Perhaps you know someone who battles with mental health. Check in on them to see how they are doing. You might just save a life, that is, with that simple gesture. You can simply educate someone, a friend, a child, a colleague, or a co-passenger. Share with your knowledge about your importance of protecting our mental health and getting help wherever necessary. Post mental health care tips, articles, infographics on your social media and encourage them to preserve their mental health. Be sure to use the hashtag. Suicide is ranked top number 10 for leading cause of death in the US. It is the top cause of death. An average of one person commits suicide every 11 minutes in the US. Studies show that women are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than men. Half of all suicides are firearm related, according to statistics. Half of all suicides in the US are by firearms because they are easily accessible to them. Suicide can happen to anyone. There is no specific demography for suicide. So it is a wonderful opportunity to reach out on World Semicolon Day and spread hope to anyone who might feel like they don't have an alternative way out of where they are going through. See what you can do on this day to help. World Semicolon Day gives suicide survivors a platform through which to stand one another in solidarity. This is one of the ways we can combat the problem. World Semicolon Day helps bring about awareness regarding the mental health issues and suicide. It also offers ways to manage and prevent abuse. Today is also commemorated as National Eggs Benedict Day in US. It is on special American dish. It consists of a poached egg, an English muffin, and a Canadian bacon covered with hollandaise sauce, and it's surrounded by a misconception. Some have assumed that the name originated from Benedict Arnold, the American Revolutionary War traitor, but its origins are a lot more complicated than they appear. There are multiple stories about who first invented eggs Benedict, and one of the earliest was in the 18th century. Like Pope Benedict XII was obsessed with eggs. He loved one egg dish so much that he repeatedly ordered it on a consistent basis. It was said that despite his illness, he still had cravings for it, and his love for the egg dish never diminished. From that point on, his name and the dish were bound to one another. Today is also commemorated as Foursquare Day in US. It is the birth anniversary of popular geolocation app Foursquare. This is perhaps one of the most unique days you have ever come across. The idea behind creating the holiday is one of its kind. Foursquare 4 into 4 is 16, meaning 4 by 16 or April 16. And that is how this day was born. Today, this day is observed over 100 cities worldwide with much enthusiasm. We are excited to celebrate this app that makes it easier for us to share our location and also pick up on our friend's location. Foursquare Day, widely known as 4SQ Day, has its origins in Tampa, Florida. Nathan Bonilla Barford thought up the name of this day. An optometrist by profession, Watford is also a lover of days and numbers. He came up with the idea of holiday on April 16, 4 into 4, 16 on Get Satisfaction, an online community platform. Later, he mentioned it in detail in one of his blogs. And he didn't stop there. On March 22, 2009, he discussed his thoughts on Foursquare Day with leading project manager Jessica Barnett, who helped him promote his idea. On March 26, Foursquare made an official announcement regarding celebration of this day on Twitter. Finally, the last commemoration of the day today is also the foundation day of Indian Railways, which was started on this day in 18th century. Today is also commemorated as the Save the Elephant Day, which is observed across the world on April 16th every year. Its purpose is to raise awareness about the predicament of elephants whose population has continued to decline quite noticeably. Elephants are the largest existing land animals and are spread across Africa and Asia. Recent studies estimate that there are now just over 4 lakh elephants across the African continent, and although the situation differs from country to country, it cannot be denied that the giant mammals are in decline on a continent-wide scale due to poaching, hunting, and various other activities. So Save the Elephant Day seeks to change this upsetting trend by educating people about elephants and in the predicament they face, encouraging everyone to do their bit in helping to save the elephants from extinction. Organizations across the world have worked together to tackle some of the major threats elephant populations face. In 1989, the international commerce trade of ivory was banned. The Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species, in short known as CITES, secured an agreement among its member states to ban the international ivory trade. In 2016, China was the world's largest ivory market, called for the ban of all ivory sales within the country. On December 20, 2018, the UK Ivory Act 2018 received royal assent for being passed by the British Parliament, and the act may be extended to include hippos, walruses, and narwhals in the future. In 2012, Save the Elephant Day was established by the Elephant Reintroduction Foundation in Thailand, together with Patricia Sims, a Canadian filmmaker. The launch of this worldwide initiative in the year 2012 saw the release of The Return to the Forest, a documentary film narrated by Star Trek actor William Shatner. On December 20, the UK Ivory Act receives the royal assent after being passed by the British Parliament. In 2018, the UK Ivory Act, the Elephant Reintroduction Foundation in Thailand creates Save the Elephant Day in 2012. So World Elephant Day is celebrated on August 12th every year to help protect elephants by raising awareness about the difficult conditions they experience. Today is celebrated as Save the Elephant Day. There are 2 days dedicated to it. and Save the Elephants is a UK registered charity based in Kenya, was founded in September 1993 by Len Douglas Hamilton. It works to secure the future of elephants. So share useful information about saving the elephants on your social media platforms. You can also join sensitization campaigns to inform the general public about the need to save endangered elephant populations. So help discourage the poaching of elephants by not buying an ivory merchandise. If there are no demands for the elephant tusk, then poachers won't have a market. So do not purchase or encourage ivory products. Support organizations that are working to stop the illegal poaching and trade of elephant ivory and other wildlife products. You can help by donating to their cause or volunteering. Elephants are essential for supporting ecosystems and are considered a core species for the role they play. Elephants help to shape ecosystems. Species are distinguished by their ears. The ears of African elephants are much larger than Asian elephants. Elephant tusks are enlarged incisor teeth that first appear when elephants are about 2 years old. About 90% of the African elephants have been wiped out in the previous century due to the ivory trade. An elephant's skin is up to 1.6 inches thick in most places. So we get a chance to play our part in stopping the illegal wildlife elephant trade. We support community scouts, rangers, sniffer dogs, and wildlife trading monitoring networks to deter poachers and cut out in demand from would-be buyers. So it helps to stop the illegal wildlife elephant trade. It sensitizes the public. We create awareness about it, predicament of elephants. We also help to encourage the campaign against animal trade and wildlife elephant trade. And we also help to discourage the public from purchasing items made from ivory and killing of elephants. It also helps to raise funds by encouraging people to donate to save the elephants movements. We can help protect them. Fundraising events are also organized to help protect the remaining estimated 497,000 elephants in the world. Let's watch a short trailer. And in the meanwhile, the feedback form is available. You can just fill the feedback form.
It's only been a few years since Kenyan women have taken on the highly challenging role of conservation ranger, protecting the endangered African elephant from poachers and human-elephant conflict. In a deeply patriarchal society, where women fight for economic, social, and political rights, these female
For many years, a creature of mystery and wonder has roamed throughout the world. It is a part of religion, culture, and human history like no other. Its territory was once vast, and its numbers were uncountable. Feared, worshipped, and loved by most, its role is now forgotten. Its world is rapidly disappearing, and its time is quickly coming to an end.
Maybe 100 years ago in Thailand, must have been over 100, 200,000 elephants, at least. Right now, there are only 2,800 something captive elephants. And maybe just 1,200 wild elephants. So altogether, you're talking about 4,000.
This is Nung Mai, one of the 4,000 elephants left in Thailand. She is 6 years old, and she's being taken to the city to work as a street-begging elephant. This is one of their only ways to survive. Thousands of years ago, elephants were used to build civilizations. They were essential in warfare. Thailand defended its freedom and conquered its enemies using elephants. For the past 100 years, the elephant has been used to harvest the forest. Logging helped to build the kingdom's modern-day economy, creating jobs and industry, all on the backs of elephants. Unfortunately, this relentless logging devastated the forest habitat. In 1990, logging in Thailand was banned, but the damage was already done, and there was hardly any forest left for elephants to roam freely. Elephants in Thailand became not only homeless, but out of work as well. Times changed, and the elephant became an essential part of a new industry. Roughly 1,500 elephants work in Thailand's tourist trade. Most elephant tourism is very hard on elephants.
You can watch these documentaries.
It requires
Return
doing
to the forest and elephant warriors
things that are not
online.
in there.
So thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful occasion. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same link with different commemorations, and we wish you a happy Sri Ram Navami tomorrow on the occasion of Sri Ram Navami. May Lord Rama and Goddess Sita bless us all with health, well-being and prosperity. Thank you everyone. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.